So today is my 3-year wedding anniversary, and I can without a doubt say that this has been hands down the most depressing, miserable, horrible 3 years of my life.
Was it worth it? They say hurt people. But in the age of TikTok, hurt people go viral. Have you noticed that the videos that tend to go viral are ones that airs out the dirty laundry kind of approach? This wife shared something raw, maybe too raw, and the whole world saw it, including, as you'll see towards the end, her husband. But here's the real question. Was she seeking healing or just hoping to be heard by going public? And that's a question I want us to look at in a few moments as I show you how she got here. Now, if you're new here, welcome. I'm Kingsley Grant, a licensed marriage and family therapist and a Christian relationship coach. Here at Building Happier Marriages, I help wives like you build stronger, more joy-filled, Christ-centered marriages, even when your husband is busy, distracted, or emotionally checked out. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. And stick around until the end, and I've got a free gift for you that could change the tone of your marriage starting today. Now, this wife shared where her heart is, what she's been through, and what led her to this moment. So let's watch this together.
I have literally never been so depressed. I've never hated another person more than I hate the person that I married. Well, I run my ass off and I do everything for everybody in my life, like me, my kids, him. He goes to work and works enough. That's it. He works. Yeah, his job's hard. Yeah, his hours suck, but he works. That is all he does.
Look, I'm not here to bash her. I see the pain, but TikTok isn't therapy. It's not a sacred space. It's a stage. It's a platform. It's not a sacred space. And I think it's important for a wife like this to remind herself of this. You know, Proverbs 29, verse 11, Solomon says, a fool gives full vent to his spirit, but a wise man quietly holds it back. Now, this, of course, applies to a woman as well. And the point is that giving full vent to your spirit, to what you're feeling in the moment and acting emotionally, Solomon says that's foolish. He calls a person a fool who does that. But then he says a wise person, a wise man, a wise wife, a wise woman quietly holds it back. Now, I know that's not easy, as you can imagine. If you've ever been there and been in a place like she is, it's not easy. However, as you will see in this video, it wasn't easy for her to now deal with the consequences of such rash decisions, emotionally hijacked, where your emotion drives the moment. It's never the best way. More often than not, it leads to places that you don't want to go. It leads to you saying things and doing things that you probably would not have said and done had you not been emotionally charged. Am I correct? Have that been true in your life as well? Here's what I do know. Venting online might feel like release, but it rarely brings resolution. Now, there's a real cry for help, as you can imagine and see in this wife. And she is probably trying to get the attention of her husband. And she, like I said, you're going to see where she did get the attention of her husband. The question becomes, Was that the intention she was hoping for? We're going to find out in a few moments. But here is where she finds herself. Here is where her pain began to show and she began to break. Let's watch this clip about what she had to say and how she is begging for the bare minimum. Let's watch.
I tried taking care of myself and went on a walk, but when I started realizing I hadn't heard from him, I'm calling and calling and calling and begging for the bare minimum of him to watch our daughter. Excuse my language. I'm just so upset. To watch our daughter, to cut up a watermelon, and to make dinner. I am 30 years old and I'm literally begging for the bare minimum every single day.
This moment isn't about anger. It's exhaustion. Did you hear the exhaustion in her voice? Have you ever felt that exhausted in your own relationship, your marriage? And maybe not knowing what to do. Let me just say, this is not the way, and you'll see why, to go about doing it. It might be tempting to say, let me get out there and see if I can have some people who could agree with me and get where I'm coming from. But here's what happens. You're going to get some people who might agree with you and cheer you on, but they're not going to live the consequences of what they're cheering on. Unfortunately, that tend to be the case. I was working with someone some time back, and we were talking through some things similar to the idea of trying to get the feedback from an audience that truly doesn't have their best interests at heart. They really don't care. They want to just kind of meddle. And I said to this person, now look at where you're at. Look at where your relationship with these individuals are. And where are these people who are there cheering you on and egging you on and all the different things? Where are they now? And you're going to see where this wife, she probably was hoping for that. Now you'll get some people who will, side with you and cheer you on and encourage you. And you get some people who will attack you. And if those who are attacking you, those are the ones you're going to hear more than those who are encouraging you. That one voice that maybe may call your name or label you on your behavior. And now imagine this wife having all of those things going on and hearing that voice speaking negativity in her mind. How much more it's going to feel heavier and darker for her. But you can hear her exhaustion. She's tired. But publicizing her struggle only isolated her father. And this is a thing that tends to happen. You know, that's why it's so important. It's so important for us to take wise counsel, seek wise counsel in moments like this. Solomon said in Proverbs 15, verse 22, plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. Now, I don't know where this woman have been, this wife. Had she gone for counseling? I don't know. And I would hope she did. Well, obviously, she did not get wise counsel, because if she did, this would not be what we're talking about today. See, God gave us wise counsel, not TikTok followers, for moments like this. For moments like this. And so, unfortunately, we have turned things upside down. Now, one of the things that I find that, as you're seeing in this video, and you're going to see more of this tend to happen, is where there's a blame game that's occurring. A blame game. And, John Gottman, in one of his research, found out that one of the highest predictor of divorce is blaming. Blaming. Yes, you heard me. So whenever there's blaming in relationships, the chance is it's going to lead to a divorce. And so it not only did she start the blame idea, but then she started questioning her marriage. And she also divulges and shares why she is in this marriage. So let's take a look and listen to what she now have to say.
I am a married single mom. That's what I am. Yeah, I don't work, but the amount of weight I carry, I mean, I can tell you right now, the reason women stay in shit relationships is, one, because they don't have the means to leave financially, like a house. Two, the idea of a family. I can tell you why I've stayed. Money. It's that simple. I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. He used to want me to be a stay-at-home mom. Now he just doesn't care, because he doesn't care about anything.
She wanted the dream, the home, the family, the picture perfect life. And no one would blame her for that. I understand. That's really why many people get married. They want those things. That's not bad things. But here's the thing. Did she want the man or the lifestyle he provided? Which is it? I cannot tell you how many times I've heard from husbands who have said to me, Kingsley, I feel like all I'm here for is to provide. I'm here is just to make sure everybody takes is taken care of. And that's all it seems like my job or my role is. I doesn't seem like I'm even recognized and acknowledged sometimes or appreciated. And maybe if you're a husband watching this, maybe you as a wife watching this, have your husband ever said those things? If he has, you want to pay attention to that. If you're a husband watching this, have you ever said that? I mean, I would love to hear in the comments below any experience you've had, if this has ever happened to you or not. But also, as you're watching, if it never even did, what's your thoughts about that? Would you agree? Right? Maybe what we're hearing is that she only wanted him for what he did, what he provided. Sometimes along the way, what tends to happen in these moments that spouses, couples stop building together, right? And maybe this was happening in this relationship. They lost the plot for this play that they were writing together, this lifestyle they were creating. They've lost the plot, they've lost the script. They forgot to water the plant and it's dying. So the question becomes, was it love or was it comfort? Did she miss him or what he did for her? What's your thoughts? Now, this is real talk. This is the hard part because when I hear those things coming through, I'm beginning to question, dear wife, I hear your pain, but I'm also hearing coming through possibly what your husband might have been feeling and why he might not have been as engaged as you would love him to. Maybe he's feeling something that disclosing, maybe not directly, but indirectly. Now, here is where things gets to the place and spiral where you've got to watch this in any relationship you find yourself in because our hearts can truly begin to go on the decline, right? And hers did because you're going to see what she now said about her husband. She says something no spouse ever wants to admit out loud or say. And these are damaging words. And you're going to hear why I say that in a few moments. Here's what she now say about her heart towards her husband and how she feels about him. Let's look.
I've never hated another person more than I hate the person that I married.
Wow. Wow. What if you were the husband? What if you were in that situation? This right here, this is the scariest part because hate doesn't show up overnight. It grows from disappointment, resentment, and emotional exhaustion. That's being left unchecked. See, this is how the devil steps in and steals. And the Bible doesn't sugarcoat when it comes to hatred. God doesn't sugarcoat that in the word because First John 3:15 says, anyone who hates a brother or sister is a murderer, and you know that no murderer has eternal life residing in him. Ouch. That's serious, wouldn't you say? God is serious about this because he knows what's behind this. He knows where it's going to lead if is unchecked. She needs help. She needs divine help, the help of the Lord, right? This is something that is bigger than her at this point, and it is devouring her. Have you ever experienced that in your life where this building, right? It's like a snowball building, and you begin to feel this tension and this dislike and to hatred. And, at that moment, you do need, I believe, outside help. You need, yes, counselors and therapists and all of that, spiritual leaders, but you need God's help. We truly need God's help. Jesus said in John 10, verse 10, the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but I've come to give life and to give it to the full. This is not a full life, would you say? Would you agree? This is not a full life. Who likes to live this way? And I believe that embracing the mind of Christ is now, and for her, embracing the mind of Christ is the fastest and most impactful way that a spouse, and in this case, his wife, to find peace and joy in her heart. It's truly that way because her heart needs to be guarded, and she's having a hard time guarding her heart at this moment. And that's why Proverbs 4:23 says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Everything. It's in the heart it first starts. If she had guarded her heart, maybe bitterness, bitterness wouldn't have taken root. And that's not to blame. It's a wake up call, right? Because once hatred enters the heart, Satan will use it. He'll isolate you, fill you with dark thoughts, and push you further away from healing. Have you ever experienced that? Maybe not in a marriage, but in any relationship context. Satan does that. He will push you away and begin to put thoughts in your mind, dark thoughts. I cannot tell you how many people I've worked with in coaching or therapy where I listen to their hearts and how they'll say, Kingsley, I'm in a dark place. I'm in a dark place. My mind is just really racing and I can't begin to tell you what's going through my mind. And sometimes because of the whole idea of confidentiality and disclosure, they would rather not say. But I can tell, I can pick up on what they're saying. Of course, I'm not going to judge or put the words in their mouth. If they don't say it, I'm not going to say it, but I know based on what they're saying, what they're thinking. But see, that's what Satan does. Now, I'm not judging her. She's clearly hurting, but this is why it's so important to not suffer in silence, to get the right help before it turns to into hate, right? Before it turns into hate or becomes too late. My prayer is that she gets the support she needs, not shame, not condemnation. You know, I have a another channel that is called Peaceful Home Prayers, and I hope you have gone and visited that. The link will be in the description below, but it's where I talk about some of these ideas, and I just did as of this recording, I just did a devotional prayer, meditation, reflection there, and I talk about this very idea of condemnation and how Satan condemns and then God does not condemn. You may want to listen to that. It's very short, but it's a great time of devotion and reflection and prayer. Now, just the healing that she needs, the healing she needs, and truth, only God can bring that. Only God can bring that. Now, the question becomes the husband. I mentioned earlier that the world saw it, it went viral, but then the question becomes, did the husband also see it or a family member saw it? Well, obviously, what do you expect? You put it out there, it's public, and the husband did. And the question becomes, how did he respond to that? Well, let her tell you in her own words what happened. Let's watch this together.
My husband left the night that I posted that original video. I can't remember the timeline. He had stayed here twice. One night that I was here because it was just late. And then another night why I didn't stay here. Other than that, he's been gone. I think he was here like during the day once or twice while I wasn't here. He needs to get his stuff still. He hasn't did that.
Hmm. What did you expect? I mean, who would have blamed this husband? Now, I'm not saying he was blameless, but her airing it out like that and throwing him under the bus publicly, that was the nail in the coffin. You know, Proverbs 15, verse 1 says, a gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. And this is so important. And I think this is one of the things that I would suggest you probably, tweet, quote, put it somewhere. But here's what is so important for you and I to remember. Public shame almost never leads to private healing. Public shame almost never leads to private healing. And that's what she was hoping for. But as you can tell, it never did happen. So why does all of this matter? Why does all this matter? Well, I think it's important for me to say, even to this wife, and maybe to you as a wife who's going through something very similar, I would say, wife, I know how it feels to pour your heart into a marriage and still feel invisible. Well, I'm not a wife, but I've been married for 40 years as of this recording, 40. So I've had my own experience with my wife, and I have also worked with many, many couples and hundreds of other wives over the last 2 decades as a licensed marriage and family therapist and a certified relationship coach. So when I say I know from personal experience having been married, but also professional. And so I'm basically saying to you, this is understandable what you're going through, but posting your pain online won't heal your heart or your home. And I hope this is a big lesson for not just her, but for anyone else who find themselves in a situation like this. Maybe you, as you're watching this, maybe you had a temptation to do something like this and you've been mulling in your mind whether or not you should. I hope this will be a great lesson for you as well. Now, here's the thing. I believe there's a better way. There's a better way, and it starts with rebuilding from the inside out. From the inside out. And that's why I created the Joyful Marriage Quest, a 6 week biblical and evidence based coaching journey. And inside of this quest, this journey, you'll learn the 7 essential connection skills that help you reconnect with your husband, rekindle love, and deepen intimacy without losing your peace or joy. Now, if this is something that sounds very interesting to you or intriguing, I believe that you want to get on the wait list for this because this is real work, quiet, sacred, powerful. And so here's how you can get on the wait list. Now, you can go to buildyourhappiermarriage.com slash waitlist, buildyourhappiermarriage.com slash waitlist. And you'll find, if maybe at this recording, the way the time you're watching this, you may be have already been changed. But I had there prior a on the wait list, it would say happier marriage by design. That would be changed, and it might be changed by the time you get there. But I want to encourage you to, if this video struck a nerve or stirred something in your heart, don't just scroll on. Join the wait list for my upcoming webinar, and the wait list will get you on get you notified when this webinar is going to be had. And the webinar is how to reconnect with your husband without feeling like you're the only one trying. How to reconnect with your husband without feeling like you're the only one trying. If this somehow, again, resonates with you, please go to buildyourhappiermarriage.com slash waitlist, and you'll also receive a free gift that's helped so many wives take the first step toward healing. The link is also in the description, and I can't wait to see you there. Now, here's a question I want to leave you with. Do you think this wife crossed the line by going public? Was her husband right to walk out, or should he have responded differently? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit that thumbs up button even right now. And I thank you for doing so. Now may God bless you and keep you and make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. And remember this, I'll see you in the next video, and watch this video that you'll see on the screen right here, and share this one as well as the one you're watching with at least one other person. And I would really appreciate that. God bless, and see you then.